fell in love twice. The latest earbuds with a bold design, smart features, and a great price. Next, Rich on Tech.
Monday at 5 a.m.
Now at 1, former President Donald Trump spoke out this morning, vowing to appeal yesterday's guilty verdicts in his hush money trial. Good afternoon. This is the Ktla 5 News at 1. I'm Glenn Walker.
And I'm Lou Parker. Former President Donald Trump is expected to be sentenced in July on all 34 felony convictions.
He also said he plans to focus on his campaign for president. Ktla 5's Corrine Winter live in the newsroom with more. Corrine?
Yeah, Glenn, that sentencing date right around the corner, and there are many things that the judge will consider. That includes a probation officer's recommendations based on factors like Trump's public actions over the next several weeks. And he's still not mincing words about the trial that led to his conviction.
We will make America stronger.
Outside Trump Tower in New York Friday morning, Trump supporters rallied behind former President Donald Trump, now a convicted felon. Trump, speaking to his base and all of America, slammed the proceedings as political and said his legal team will appeal the conviction, with the sentencing date set for July 11th.
What took place yesterday with this judge, look, we have conflicted, but he's a crooked judge. And I say that knowing that it's very dangerous for me to say that.
A New York jury found Trump guilty on all 34 felony counts on Thursday, the first time a former U.S. president was ever tried or convicted in a criminal case. Prosecutors claim Trump falsified internal business records to conceal hush money payments made to cover up negative stories that could have impacted his 2016 presidential bid.
So we're going to be appealing this scam. We're going to be appealing it on many different things. He wouldn't allow us to have witnesses. He wouldn't allow us to talk. He wouldn't allow us to do anything. The judge was a tyrant.
Trump proclaimed this legal fight is far from over and that he's focusing on his campaign. Some legal experts say that focus should be on what happens next with this conviction for the presumptive GOP nominee, who's facing everything from prison time to probation, community service, or even home arrest.
I do not believe it is likely that he will actually go to prison or jail. Donald Trump is going to have to meet with a probation officer so that the probation department can compile and prepare a pre-sentence report. Donald Trump's attorneys are going to file a motion to vacate the conviction, and that motion will be heard prior to the sentencing.
While Trump called the trial a scam, saying the judicial system is rigged, President Biden cautioned the former president on making these scathing statements.
And it's reckless, it's dangerous, it's irresponsible for anyone to say this was rigged just because they don't like the verdict.
It's not just the sentencing that looms for Trump. He still faces 54 criminal counts in 3 more cases. Lou and Glenn, we'll send it back to you.
Corrine, thank you so much. And closer to home here, Monrovia officials are trying to determine who inverted dozens of American flags outside the city's library to fly upside down. Such displays started in some places around the nation and on social media after yesterday's verdict against former President Donald Trump. Ktla 5's Jennifer McGraw has more details.
The flags have been left up since Memorial Day to honor our veterans at the annual picnic tomorrow, which is why the city worked quick this morning to get these flags right side up.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Dozens of flags honoring our nation's heroes were flipped upside down overnight, likely as a political sign of the guilty verdict of former President Donald Trump in the hush money case in New York. A viewer sent us this video of the flags flying inverted. The U.S. flag code, which is not legally enforceable, specifically says the flag is not to be inverted except as a signal of dire distress in instance of extreme danger to life or property. But in more recent years, it's become political. Pro-Trump Republicans have been using the upside-down flag to describe the country in decidedly un-American terms. But it's not just Republicans, but progressives on both sides using the flag to show mounting frustrations in our government. Regardless of sides, some people who live here say it's wrong.
I think it's wrong to go on anyone's personal property and change something.
And plus, veterans. This is very, very wrong.
Others argue it's freedom of speech and a signal of distress.
America's judicial system really got a blow yesterday. It has nothing to do with whose side I'm